Good afternoon, I'm Pauline Chiarelli and I'm speaking to you from the Photo Gallery here in Huntington. I was lucky enough to be selected, my work was lucky enough to be selected as one of the finalists, the second place finalist here at the 6th Annual International Phone-Ography Competition sponsored by Photo. If you haven't had the opportunity to come down here and see the exhibit, please do. And if you can't come down, please take the time to go to their website and look at it virtually. They did a great job at exhibiting all of the pieces that are so phenomenally displayed here in the building. I wanted to give you a little background. I have a number of years in photography. I have had a chance to exhibit in a few places, most recently the Islip Art Museum and Suffolk Historical Society. Years ago at the East End Arts Council. It was part of group shows and stuff like that, but you know, I don't put a heavy concentration on that. And only recently this summer did I finally have a cell phone that had a decent enough camera that I could play with. That was important to me because I was able to use what I had, and I didn't always have to have a camera with me. And I did a deep dive into some of the applications that would really enhance my photography during a class that I took this summer. And so think of a cell phone camera as really just your prime lens and an opportunity for you to use whatever camera you have available. It's your cell phone. The phones they build today are tremendously quality. So you can get some pretty interesting images, which is obviously evident in this show. I want to tell you a little bit about this place. It is the Long Island Maritime Museum. It's a gem here on Long Island in West Salem. And it really has a tremendous value to me. It is a place not far from where I grew up. I visited many times over the years, and it had a moment in my own wedding, so it was important to reflect on that too. I went to my first social distancing event this summer, and I was really excited that I took a long cut home and went to the Maritime Museum to see what was going on, take a sniff of the sea air. I was really surprised to find that they had a brand new building on the property, and this is the interior of that building. It's called the Augers Marine Transportation Center, and the reason it's called Augers is explained and detailed on their website. But it has to do with the ability to restore old ships, which they do on the property. It's a fascinating place to watch boat restoration. And they can float in from the bay and bring along the rails these older boats that they can then spend months in restoration. And it's a phenomenal experience to look inside, and it's meant to have openings at either end. The bowsprit of the larger boats can sit outside in the rain, and it doesn't matter as the workmen can handle the restoration inside the building. The building itself, I understand, was originally designed by architects here in Huntington. So it was really surprising to get to see this building, and I photographed it with my phone inside and out. The building is open on either end. That gives, as a photographer, you know, it gives you light from both behind you and in front of you. And when I was framing out the shot with my cell phone on the old fence that boarded up the entrance, I knew I had to expose for the brightest portion of the image. That's a very important step when you're composing a shot as a photographer. But I also knew I had to have the definition of everything that preceded that light. So I made sure I was focused on the foreground, but I was lit for the most important item in the background. And then once I got the image home, it didn't look all that exciting, but then I was able to apply some apps on the phone that revealed all of the beautiful texture and lighting inside the interior of the building. It really was a great time of day. It was low light, it was warm, it was joyous, and I was really thrilled to get really far in the processing of this image. The very last minute I brought it into Photoshop, and I simply used Photoshop to reveal the structure in the roof of the building so that the frame had interest in the entire scene. This image has since done well at a local camera club competition. It has also recently been part of a fundraiser at Long Island Maritime Museum. So it's had a little life here since the summer when I took this image. So that's a little bit about that image, a little bit about me, and I really encourage you to support local businesses like this, to use art any way you can, to take the time in a crazy year just to have a little bit of interest in how you use your camera, do a little good, share it with friends. It'll make all the difference in your life. Thank you.
Yay, Pauline. Thank you so much for doing that again. What a pain. I'm so sorry.
I don't even want to do it 2 times.
Oops, I forgot to do something.
Do you think I need a